So 2023 is coming to a close, and I think when you look back at 2023 for all of the companies, one of the most interesting ones I will say is Xbox. Not that they have a great year or not that they had a bad year, just that I feel like they had a very active year. And when you're coming off 2022, when you really got pretty much nothing from Xbox, in 2023, when you deliver games like Redfall, Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, Forza, Minecraft Legends, they released titles this year of varying degrees. I think when you shadow drop something like Hi-Fi Rush and it picks up like 5 nominations at the Game Awards, that is an amazing blowout beginning to a year. But then when you release Redfall, which was abysmal, based off critics, I haven't played it, so based off critics, they say it was abysmal. Starfield being kind of middling, again based off critics. Forza being not Forza Horizon, it's Forza Motorsports, so it didn't garner the same, critical reception that Forza Horizon did. With all that being said, it's definitely not a bad year for for Microsoft. And I think the way that they're trending, the building blocks that they're building, I definitely think they're on the right path for what I would say is a banner year for Xbox, right? I think when we look at 2024 and we have games like Avowed, you have games like Hellblade 2, and who knows what else they could really just drop on us any moment, right? Because Hi-Fi Rush was that shadow drop that no one was expecting, and that was probably the best game of Xbox's 2023 lineup. So with all these studios underneath Xbox's belt and really nothing to lose, I'm pretty excited to see what Xbox could cook up in 2024. Now, if we're talking about just games that are slated to release 2024 for Xbox, things like Hellblade, Senua's Saga, and Avowed, I think those two titles alone, I'm very interested in them. Are they console sellers for the grand market? Probably not. But those are console sellers, I think, for a more hardcore gaming audience. And I think that is an interesting approach that Xbox hasn't took in a long time. I think Xbox kind of went for everybody in the Xbox One with the whole all-in-one Xbox media thing, whatever, whatever, and they failed to capture the hardcore audience. I think when you look at games like Avowed and Hellblade, I don't think mainstream audience looks at that and says, "Oh yeah, that looks like, a Spider-Man or that's a Mario." That's not those games. But I think if you're in the Duffy, if you're in the weeds and you understand what you like from games, you can look at those two titles and see whether or not they're for you. And when I look at those two titles specifically, I think that's enough for me to say if these games deliver critically, if these games deliver kind of what the audience needs from Xbox right now, I am more than willing to hop into this ecosystem for those two games alone. Now, if I was to say, oh, okay, it's just gonna be those two games and never gonna have any other good games after that, I think that'd be kind of a lie because I think when you look at the pipeline of games that they're working on, things like a Fable, things like South by Midnight, things like Clockwork Revolution, they obviously had the huge acquisition of Activision, so everything Activision will be working on in the future will be day and date on Game Pass. I think that's a interesting enough and tantalizing enough, I think, offer for a lot of people to hop into the Xbox ecosystem. Whether that's on PC, whether it's actually buying the console, or whether it's buying a Samsung TV, hey, that's your own prerogative. I can't tell you how to hop into it. I'm still debating how I'm gonna choose to hop into this Xbox ecosystem. It'll probably be ways of PC, but overall, it's still Xbox. It's still their Game Pass ecosystem, and it does have me pretty excited to see a lot of the titles that they're working on. Do I think they're gonna reach the highs of PlayStation or Nintendo? I don't think that necessarily matters in today's world. I think we can live in a place where all three parties can coexist in the same, ecosystem, in the same vein of gaming. I think at this point, most people know whether they rock with PlayStation, rock with Nintendo, rock with Xbox primarily. With that being said, it doesn't mean you can't have multiple systems. It doesn't mean you can't have all three systems if you really want them. If you have the money and time, sure, go for it. And I think with Xbox, I think being as talkative as they are about all their franchises, they're telling us who's working on what. They're telling us what these games look like, kind of in abundance, right? They keep showing us almost too much of these games. I think everyone kind of complains about how much we've seen Hellblade at this point. Um, and I can agree that's a problem, right? Always talking about your games but not actually releasing them. I think 2024 is going to be the beginning of them starting to make do on these promises. I think if Hellblade drops in 2024, if Avowed drops in 2024, with the teams like Ninja Theory, with teams like Obsidian, I think it's hard to believe that they don't deliver on at least a good or great game. Are these going to be amazing blockbusters, Spider-Man, God of War level, Super Mario, Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom level? I don't think that's the problem that matters. I think they just have to deliver on good to great games, and I think Obsidian has proven that they're a team that can do that. I think Ninja Theory is a team that has done that. So I'm not necessarily putting all my stake into Xbox as a brand. More so, I'm putting my money towards the development teams that they had acquired. And sure, you can say that's kind of cheating for Xbox. You just out there and acquire a bunch of studios and say you're now making Xbox games, fall in line with Xbox. But however you did it, however you got it done, it has me excited for Xbox again. It has me excited for the ecosystem. And again, as long as they make do on these promises, and it looks like they are, not even to mention all the third parties that they've been working with very, very closely. Things like, obviously, Sega is a big fan of Xbox, with things like the Like a Dragon series having a huge, footprint in the ecosystem of Xbox, alongside things like Atlas, with Metaphor ReFantazio having a huge push for Xbox. I do think when you combine all of that, right? If their first party hits the way their first party looks like it's going to hit, if their third parties are going to hit the way that they've been hitting, because even if you look at 2023, games like Wild Hearts, games like Atomic Heart, games like Liza P, these are amazing games in their own right? I don't think they're console sellers, but they're awesome to have if you already have, a subscription to Game Pass. And I think this is where it all starts to make sense, right? This is where Xbox wants the conversation heading, and I think I'm down with it. I don't think, the Game Pass method is something I want for Nintendo or PlayStation, but it's nice to see that Xbox has that, and it's nice to see that if they make all the right partnerships, if the developers develop the right games, this could be a nice supplement to gaming for a lot of people, or even their primary ways of gaming. If I was a kid, because I grew up very, very poor, if I was a kid and my mom couldn't buy me all the newest games, something like a Game Pass subscription would have went so much for me. It would have mattered so much for me as a kid who was really big into gaming but didn't have the means to afford it all the time. I think something like Game Pass would have proven to be very, very successful in that era. Now I'm out of that. I'm buying my games, and I buy the games that I want to buy on the consoles I want to buy them. With that being said, again, it just looks like Xbox is setting up for a 2024 that has me very, very excited. Because right now, again, we don't know much about 2024 from anybody really, minus Nintendo-ish. Kind of, we know the games that they're releasing. We don't know when. PlayStation's a complete blank slate. We have no idea really what they're working on. And Xbox is really the most talkative. We know what their studios are working on, and I think if they can just deliver these games, I'm pretty excited. At this point, I don't know what more to say except that for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to say that I'm excited for Xbox. And that's something that I've been trying to do for a really long time. Xbox has been an ecosystem that I've been keeping tabs on, checking in to see when they're going to deliver products that I'm excited for. And honestly, out of the three companies, I think Xbox is the one I'm most excited for in 2024. Well, with all that said, I don't think I have any more to say on this topic. Do me a favor and like this video. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing, as that does help us out tons. Let me know down below what your guys' thoughts on Xbox in 2024, or just Xbox in general, whatever you guys want to do. Anyways, you guys, I'll leave you with that. Remember to go out there, play some games, have fun, touch some grass, etc. I'll see you in the next video.